always imagined my wedding day would feel like stepping into a dream. Soft music, the warmth of family, the soft rustle of dresses and laughter. But nothing prepares you for the moment when a memory walks through the doors you've already closed. That morning, I stood in the bridal suite staring at my reflection. My dress shimmered under the lights, delicate lace trailing down my shoulders. I should have been glowing. I should have felt like the luckiest woman alive. And for a moment, I did. Caleb Foster, steady, gentle, endlessly patient, was waiting to marry me. A man who had walked into my life when I was bruised, careful, still learning how to trust again. A man who made me believe love didn't always have to be a battlefield. But then the door behind me opened, and my maid of honor, Riley, peeked in, her face pale. "Elena," she whispered, "you need to see something." My stomach tightened. What happened? She hesitated. That alone told me enough. Riley never hesitated. "Someone showed up, okay?" "Who?" I asked, turning fully. For a second, I braced myself for a minor disaster. The florist, the decorations, maybe even Caleb's rowdy cousin Harper arriving. Drunk before noon. But then Riley exhaled slowly and said, the name I thought belonged to another lifetime. Dylan. Everything inside me went still. Dylan Mercer. My ex. The man I had loved so hard it scraped me raw. The breakup had been messy. Tears, unanswered questions, promises that broke themselves. I spent months pulling myself out of the wreckage of what we once were. And here he was. On my wedding day, my lips parted, but no sound came out. He just walked in. Riley continued, voice barely above a whisper. He's standing near the entrance with Jonas. He didn't bring anything, no gift, no guest, he just showed up. My heartbeat chimed in my ears, each thud sharp, intrusive. Why would he? Riley lifted both hands. I don't know, but the look on his face, Elena, he doesn't look angry or dramatic. He looks guilty. That word hit me in a way I wasn't ready for. I closed my eyes, breathing in slowly, trying to steady the tremble in my chest. He's not here to stop the wedding, right? He wouldn't dare. I don't think that's why he's here, she said softly. When I finally stepped out of the room and looked down the corridor toward the lobby, I saw him. Dylan stood stiff, hands clasped in front of him, eyes scanning the floor like he was fighting a battle inside his own head. He looked older, not physically, but emotionally, like life had dragged him across something sharp, and when his eyes lifted and met mine, the air between us snapped. His lips parted slightly, as if he wanted to say something, but couldn't, and suddenly the years between us felt both distant and painfully close. I stayed where I was. My knees felt unsteady in my dress, but I made sure my voice wasn't. What are you doing here? I asked. He took a step forward, then stopped himself. Elena, I'm not here to make a scene. That's not an answer. He swallowed hard. Riley subtly moved behind me, like a silent shield. I had to see you, he said quietly. Before everything happened, my jaw tightened. You're too late for seeing me. That window closed a long time ago. I know. His voice broke just a little. I just need a minute. Why? After all this time? My voice trembled despite my effort. What could you possibly need to say to me on my wedding day? He didn't look away. Something I should have told you a long time ago. A chill ran down my spine. Riley stepped forward. This is not the day for your unfinished business. But Dylan didn't look at her. His eyes were locked on mine, and the longer I stared, the more I realized something was deeply, terribly wrong. Please, he whispered. Just give me a moment. Somewhere private. I took a step back. Absolutely not. You think I'm going to run off behind closed doors on my wedding day? You think, Elena? He said gently, cutting through my panic. It's not about us. For a heartbeat, confusion flickered through me. Then he added, voice barely audible. It's about Caleb. The world tilted. Riley froze. What did you just say? Dylan shook his head. Please, just hear me. I'm not trying to ruin anything, I swear. But you deserve to know what I know. Every cell in my body screamed no. No, to this moment. No, to this disruption. No, to this ghost from my past dragging shadows into my present. But the worst part was how his eyes looked. Not manipulative, not desperate, but heavy. Like someone carrying a truth too big to keep. Caleb's name pulsed in my mind. What do you know about him? I managed to ask. He opened his mouth, then shut it again, as if the words were jagged and painful. Please, Elena, not here. People are watching. And he was right. Heads were turning. Whispers were starting. My mother was across the room with her hand over her mouth. Guests were shifting uncomfortably, unsure whether to pretend they didn't see or openly stare. My wedding day, perfect and fragile, was cracking. Riley grabbed my hand. We don't have to listen to him. We can tell him to leave. Security can escort him out. Dylan swallowed. If you tell me to walk away, I will. But you'll regret not hearing this. The weight of the moment pressed down on my chest like someone was standing on it, and somewhere deep inside, beneath the layers of excitement, hope, and carefully placed happiness, a cold fear lit up. What if he wasn't lying? What if this wasn't about us at all? What if Caleb wasn't who I believed he was? My voice, when it came, felt like it belonged to someone else. Say it here. His face twisted. Elena, no. Not in front of, say it here, I repeated, my heartbeat drumming through my entire body. The music outside faded. The world seemed to shrink until it was just him, me, and the truth tightening like a noose. He inhaled deeply, jaw tense. Elena, something happened. Something I wish I didn't know. And I can't let you marry him without WHAD. My voice cracked like glass. Dylan looked at me with eyes full of regret. And the kind of pain that can only come from a truth that destroys. I can't let you marry a man knowing what he did. The room went silent, and in that silence, my wedding day stopped being a wedding day. It became the beginning of something else entirely. Evelyn tried to smile through the photographs. The camera clicked. Relatives clapped. The string quartet swelled behind her, yet all she could see was Noah standing at the back of the ceremony space, half hidden behind a decorative arch, staring at her as if he'd come to deliver a verdict. She didn't dare look at Mason. Not yet. She couldn't let him see the tremor in her hands. Her maid of honor, Jolene, nudged her playfully. Girl, breathe. You look like you're about to faint. I'm fine, Evelyn whispered. She wasn't, because the moment she walked down the aisle, veil trembling, bouquet steady only because she forced it to be, her gaze drifted across the sea of faces. And there he was, Noah, her ex-boyfriend, the one she had blocked, deleted, erased from her life after the breakup that left her sleepless for 7 straight weeks. He didn't look angry. He didn't look desperate. He looked guilty. As if he wasn't supposed to be there at all. And the worst part, he wasn't on the guest list. The vows began. Mason held her hands in his, smiling that soft, confident smile, his dimples settling into place like they always did when he was sure of something. I've waited for this day since our first date, he whispered to her as the officiant spoke. I love you. Nothing else matters today. Nothing else, but something did, because Noah's presence wasn't nothing. Evelyn tried to focus on Mason's words, on his warmth, on the life they had built together. He was everything she had ever wanted. Steady, driven, emotionally mature, endlessly patient with her leftover fears from past relationships. He deserved her full heart today, yet half of it was paralyzed. The officiant nodded to her for her vows. Her mouth opened. A small breath escaped, but the words caught, stuck between her ribs like she'd inhaled glass. She glanced up for strength, instinctively searching the crowd. Again, Noah was still there, same expression, same unreadable heaviness, and when she locked eyes with him, his lips moved. I'm sorry, not shouted, not mouthed dramatically, just a soft, broken apology. Evelyn swayed. Jolene reached out discreetly, steadying her elbow. Mason leaned closer, brows pinched in concern. You okay? She nodded. She inhaled. She forced the words out, shaky, but passable. When the vows ended, when rings slid onto fingers, when applause erupted like a wave across the chapel, Evelyn felt sick, not heartbroken, not confused, sick, because every memory of Noah came crashing back at once. The fights they never resolved, the questions he never answered, the night he walked out with a single sentence. You'll understand someday. She never did, until now, or maybe she was about to. During the recessional, Mason squeezed her hand. Finally married, he laughed softly, brushing a kiss against her temple. Everything is perfect. Evelyn felt a sting in her chest. Was it guilt? Fear? Uncertainty? She didn't know. She wanted to be completely present for Mason. She wanted to feel the joy she'd been waiting for, but Noah's shadow stretched across every step she took. At the reception hall, a ballroom filled with champagne towers and glittering chandeliers, she excused herself to the bridal suite. To freshen up, she needed air. She needed clarity. She needed just 5 minutes, where her past wasn't staring through the walls of her new life. She closed the door behind her. Silence. Finally, her heart thumped in her ears. She pressed her palms to the vanity table, dropped her bouquet, and breathed. He shouldn't be here, she whispered to her reflection. Why is he here? A knock, soft, almost reluctant. Her blood went cold. She knew that knock. She knew it better than she remembered. She opened the door slowly, and Noah stood there. The hallway behind him was empty, quiet, intentionally separated from the noise of the reception. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't proud, or smug, or heartbroken in the way movies portrayed exes at weddings. He looked like a man standing in the moment he had been dreading for far too long. Evelyn, he said, voice low. Can we talk? Please. No, she whispered automatically. This isn't okay. Today isn't about you. I know. He swallowed hard. I'm not here to ruin anything. I swear. I'm not here to make some scene or get you back or God, Evelyn. I'm not that guy. Then why are you here? Why today? His jaw clenched. His eyes dropped to the floor, then lifted back to hers. Because I found something out, he said quietly. About Mason. Everything inside her twisted. Her breath caught. Her stomach dropped. Her pulse slowed into a cold throb. Noah, she said sharply. Don't. Whatever you think you know, it's not a guess. His voice cracked. It's not jealousy. It's not bitterness. It's the truth. And I didn't want to say anything. I swear I didn't. But once I saw it, I couldn't let you marry him without telling you. Her fingers curled into her dress. Tell me what? She whispered. He looked at her like he wished he didn't have to say it, like the truth had been sitting on his shoulders for far too long. Not here, he said. Please, just 5 minutes somewhere private. Then I'll walk away forever. Her heartbeat pounded in her temples. She shouldn't go. She shouldn't listen. But something in his expression, something deeply wrong. Something she had never seen on him, even during their worst days, froze her refusal in her throat. Noah. Her voice trembled. You're scaring me. He exhaled. Shakily. That's why I came. A burst of laughter echoed from the ballroom. Her mother called out her name somewhere in the distance. Mason was probably searching for her by now. But Evelyn stood in the doorway, suspended between two worlds, the man she had loved once and the man she was about to build a life with, both waiting, both holding truths she didn't fully know. She took a step back, heart hammering. 5 minutes, she whispered. That's all. Noah nodded, slow and broken, and Evelyn felt something shift inside her, a fear she couldn't name yet. A quiet unraveling that told her this wedding day was no longer hers. Something else had taken hold, something she wasn't ready for, something she couldn't escape. Evelyn followed Noah down the quiet corridor behind the reception hall, her fingers brushing the silk of her dress as if grounding herself in the reality of the moment. The laughter from the ballroom softened behind them, replaced by distant echoes of clinking glasses and the faint vibration of music through the walls. She wasn't supposed to be here, not with him, not today. The hallway they stepped into was dimly lit, almost forgotten by the staff, lined with framed photos of past events and empty service carts. Noah stopped near an alcove, where a floor lamp cast a warm but trembling light. He turned toward her, and in that moment, Evelyn finally saw it. The exhaustion, the guilt, the fear. It wasn't the face of a man who came to win her back. It was the face of someone who had been carrying a secret far too heavy, for far too long. 5 minutes, she reminded him quietly. He nodded. I know. I won't take more. But he didn't speak yet. He looked at her the way someone looks at a fragile structure, like one wrong movement could make everything collapse. What is this about? She asked, trying to steady her breathing. What did Mason do? What did you hear? Noah ran a hand through his hair, exhaling shakily. Before I say anything, I need you to understand. I didn't come here because of us. That's not what this is, she said sharply. I'm here because you said it matters. It does, he whispered. More than you know. Silence pressed between them. Finally, he met her eyes. I didn't know he was your fiancé, Noah said. Not at first. Evelyn felt her pulse kick. What do you mean? I met Mason months ago, at work. Not directly, through a client he was advising. I didn't know his last name at the time. Didn't know he was your Mason. I didn't connect it until recently. She frowned. Why were you involved with one of his clients? That's the thing, Noah said, voice tightening. He wasn't supposed to be advising that client, or at least, not in the way he was doing it. Evelyn stared at him, confusion working its way through her fear. You're not making any sense. Noah pulled something from his pocket, folded papers, worn at the edges, a printed email thread. This is part of it. I brought it in case you didn't believe me. Evelyn didn't take it yet. What's in there? Noah swallowed hard. Proof that Mason had been working with that client off the record, unethically, illegally, maybe. I don't know the full weight of it, but I know he hid it from the firm, hid it from a lot of people. And when I started asking questions because the numbers didn't line up, he found out. He shut it down. Her throat tightened. That's not possible. Mason would never. He threatened me, Evelyn. The words hit her like ice water. What? He told me to drop it. Told me I didn't know what I was meddling in. Told me if I kept digging, I'd regret it. Evelyn stepped back, shaking her head fast. No, you're lying. Mason isn't like that. I didn't think so either, Noah said softly. Until 2 weeks later, I was pulled off the client's entire portfolio. Then HR called me in. A heavy silence. They brought up an incident from years ago. Something resolved. Something that should have stayed sealed. Someone had dug it up. If you find this story good, please like and subscribe our channel. It's free for you but helps us a lot to keep sharing real stories like this. Evelyn covered her mouth. Her heart slammed against her ribs. It almost cost me my job, Noah whispered. And that's when I realized Mason wasn't warning me. He was silencing me. Her breath trembled. You're telling me that Mason sabotaged you? I'm telling you he's hiding something much worse than a conflict of interest, Noah said. I don't know everything. I only saw enough to scare me. She felt dizzy. Her knees weakened. But why today? She whispered. Why come here on my wedding day? Because I didn't know it was your wedding, he said. Not until yesterday. Her chest tightened. How? I saw a photo you posted with Jolene. The pre-wedding fitting. Mason's face was blurred in the background. You barely notice it unless you know him. He swallowed. I recognized him. Evelyn's vision blurred at the edges. You thought I was marrying a man who destroyed your career, she murmured. You thought I deserved to know. A soft broken sound escaped Noah. I thought you deserved the truth, he said. Even if it ruined everything. Her heartbeat grew loud in her ears. Her wedding dress suddenly felt heavy, suffocating, like she was wearing someone else's life. Do you still have feelings for me? She whispered because a part of her had to ask. A part of her needed to understand the motive beneath the storm. Noah stared at her with a sadness that felt older than both of them. Yes, he admitted quietly. But that's not why I'm here. He hesitated. It never crossed my mind that I would get you back. I burned that bridge the day I walked out. Evelyn blinked, stunned by the clarity in his voice. I'm here, he said, because I couldn't live with myself if you married a man without knowing who he really is. Her heart twisted, but part of her fought back. Mason isn't a bad man, she said weakly. He's kind. He's supportive. He's never lied to me. Everyone lies, Evelyn, Noah whispered. Some lie to protect themselves. Some lie to protect you. The difference matters. She pressed a hand to her stomach, nausea rising. What do you want me to do with this? She asked, voice cracking. Walk out. Leave my own wedding? No, Noah said, shaking his head. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm giving you the truth, and you choose what comes next. Evelyn stood frozen, torn between loyalty and suspicion, comfort and terror. She thought of Mason, his gentle smile, his steady hands, the life they had planned together. Then she thought of the email in Noah's pocket, the fear in his eyes, the quiet way he said he threatened me. Her entire world felt tilted. You need to go, she whispered finally. Before someone sees you. Noah nodded. He stepped back. I'm sorry, he said. For everything. For today. For before. I just couldn't let you walk into something blind. Evelyn didn't respond. She couldn't. He started walking away, but halfway down the hall, he paused and turned slightly. If you start seeing cracks, he said softly, don't ignore them. Then he walked off into the dim corridor, swallowed by shadows, leaving Evelyn alone with a truth she didn't want and a future that suddenly felt uncertain. For a long moment, she just stood there, gripping the wall for balance, trying not to collapse. Somewhere behind her, the ballroom erupted in applause again, a celebration she no longer knew how to walk back into. Evelyn didn't remember walking back toward the reception hall. Her heels clicked softly along the corridor, but her mind was far away, spinning in slow, disoriented circles. People smiled as she returned, lifting champagne flutes, offering warm congratulations, but all of it sounded muffled like she was underwater. Jolene rushed to her first, grabbing her hand. There you are, Ev. I was about to send a search party. Mason's been asking for you. Her voice was cheerful, too cheerful. Evelyn forced a smile. I just needed a moment, she said. A breather. Jolene squeezed her arm. Totally normal. Weddings are insane. But Evelyn's eyes drifted toward Mason, who was laughing with some friends near the bar. He seemed so normal, so present. So Mason, the man who left her flowers in the fridge, remembered her coffee order, warmed her hands on cold nights. Could Noah really be talking about that same man? Evelyn swallowed, the metallic taste rising in her throat. Jolene followed her gaze. He looks so happy, Ev. Like he can finally breathe. Those words stabbed her unexpectedly, because she couldn't breathe at all. Jolene studied her face. You good? Evelyn nodded. Too fast. Yeah, just overwhelmed. But Jolene wasn't an idiot. She narrowed her eyes. Something's wrong. No, Evelyn whispered. I'm fine. She wasn't fine. She was anything but fine. Oh, before I forget, Jolene said, turning toward her clutch. Mason gave me this earlier. He said to hand it to you when you had a minute. She pulled out an envelope, cream-colored, neatly sealed. Mason's handwriting. Evelyn felt the breath freeze in her chest. What's this? She asked. He didn't say. Evelyn hesitated but took it. Inside the envelope was a folded document. A financial statement. One she recognized. Mason had been working with a private client for months, helping with restructuring and investments. He'd tried to explain it once, but she hadn't understood much. But she recognized the client's name. It was the same name Noah mentioned. Her blood turned cold. Her hands trembled as she refolded the paper. Ev? Jolene asked quietly. What's going on? I need a moment, she whispered. She stepped away before Jolene could answer, disappearing down a quieter hallway. This time she didn't wander. She moved with purpose, heading toward the bridal suite, closing the door behind her. For the first time that day, she was alone. She sank onto the small velvet bench, heart pounding. She unfolded the financial statement again. There was a handwritten note at the bottom. Mason's handwriting. Just a reminder, keep this safe. I'll explain everything tomorrow. Today is just ours. Her breath caught. Explain everything? Explain what? Why tomorrow? Why not today? She grabbed her phone, hands shaking, and scrolled through old messages from Mason. She stopped on one from 3 weeks ago. Work emergency. Late night again. Don't wait up. That was the same night Noah said he confronted Mason's department about the discrepancy. The same night Noah was suddenly pulled off the account, her stomach twisted. Coincidence? Or connection? She opened her emails, searched Mason's name, hundreds of messages appeared, then she saw something she had never noticed before, a forwarded email accidentally sent to her months ago. She must have opened it then forgotten. Hey Mason, here's the revised draft. Let me know if you want me to wipe the original. Wipe the original? Of what? Evelyn felt her pulse in her throat. She clicked the attachment. It was a draft contract with missing clauses, reworded terms. Something altered. Something hidden. She didn't understand all of it, but she knew enough to know this was wrong. Paperwork shouldn't need to be wiped. She closed her eyes. Noah's words echoed painfully. He wasn't supposed to be advising that client. He hid it from the firm. He threatened me. Evelyn felt her entire body tremble. But a part of her small, desperate still whispered, there has to be another explanation. This can't be happening. Not today. She stood slowly and walked to the mirror. Behind her reflection, she saw everything she had built with Mason, every plan, every promise tilting dangerously. She stared at her own reflection like she was looking at someone she didn't know. A soft knock jolted her. Ev. Mason's voice filtered through the door. You in there? Her heart stopped. She froze, unable to speak. You okay? He asked, gentle, warm, familiar. Jolene said you needed a minute. I just wanted to check on you. Her pulse hammered. She opened the door a crack. Mason stood there, handsome, polished, the groom every woman would dream of. His expression softened when he saw her. There you are, he whispered. You scared me. He stepped forward as if to kiss her, but she stepped back. His smile faltered. What's wrong? He asked quietly. Evelyn tried to speak, but her throat tightened. Where did you get that financial draft? She finally whispered. The one you gave Jolene? Mason blinked. What do you mean? This, she said, pulling out the paper. Why did you say you'd explain everything tomorrow? He hesitated, but only for a second. Ev, he said softly, reaching for her hand. You don't need to worry about that today. She pulled her hand away. Mason, she said, voice cracking, do not do that. Do not try to calm me down without explaining. He exhaled slowly, switching into the soothing tone he used when she got anxious. Evelyn, today is our wedding day. I don't want to get into work stuff. This isn't work stuff, she whispered. Someone came today. Someone who knows about that client. Mason's jaw clenched. Who? He asked sharply. Evelyn swallowed. He shouldn't have reacted like that. Not that quickly. Not that intensely. Just tell me the truth, she whispered. Did something happen? Are you hiding something? He looked at her for a long moment. Something dark flickered in his expression. Then it was gone. I'm not hiding anything, he said, voice low but controlled. Ev, you're overthinking. It's the stress, the adrenaline. Come on, let's go back. Everybody's waiting. He moved toward her, a practiced comfort, a steady reach, a gesture she used to melt into. But today, she stepped back again, and this time he noticed, a coldness slid into his eyes. What exactly did someone tell you? He asked. She felt her throat tighten. Mason took a breath, slow, deliberate. Then his voice softened again. Evelyn, who talked to you? She opened her mouth, and no answer came, because she suddenly realized telling him might be dangerous. Her heart pounded so loud she thought he might hear it. I just saw something in the paperwork, she said quickly. It made me curious, that's all. His eyes stayed on her for a long, painful second. Then he forced a smile. You need air, he said gently. Let's get you outside. But she didn't move, neither did he, and in the thick, humming silence between them, Evelyn felt it all settle in her bones. The certainty Noah had tried to warn her about, the doubt she had tried to push away, the truth she was now too close to ignore. Something was wrong, very wrong, and she had just stepped into the middle of it on the day she was supposed to feel safest in the world. The reception lights glittered softly through the windows, but Evelyn barely noticed as she walked back toward the noise. She felt like she was floating untethered, confused, terrified of every step she took. She could feel Mason behind her, not touching her, not rushing, just walking a few steps back, watching her. That alone made her panic. When they re-entered the hall, people cheered. Someone clinked a glass. The DJ called for the couple's first dance. Jolene waved excitedly. Mason's mother dabbed her eyes with a napkin. It looked like a fairy tale. It felt like a trap. Evelyn's breath came shallow. Her palms were sweating, her fingers twitching uncontrollably. She didn't know how to move, where to stand, or who to look at, because every time she met someone's eyes she felt like she was lying. She tried to smile. It felt like a mask glued to her face. Mason stepped closer, lowering his voice. Ev, breathe. His voice was calm to calm, smooth, controlled, like he was managing a situation, not comforting a bride. She forced herself to nod. The DJ announced, let's welcome our beautiful bride and groom to the dance floor. Applause roared. Evelyn's stomach dropped. She wanted to refuse. Her body wanted to run. Her mind screamed to get away from him. But she walked, because what else could she do? When Mason slid his hands around her waist, she felt a chill run through her. Not because of the cold, because of the familiarity, the closeness, the illusion of safety. She rested her hands on his shoulders. She had touched him like this hundreds of times. She used to feel calm, steady, cherished. Tonight, she felt trapped. The music started soft, slow, sentimental. People swayed. Cameras flashed. Their friends watched with warm, emotional eyes, but Evelyn felt his breath near her ear when he whispered, "What exactly did he tell you?" Her heart nearly stopped. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Mason's hand pressed gently into her back, not hard. Just firm, steady, controlled. "Ev," he murmured. "I asked you a question." She swallowed, forcing her voice to work. "No one told me anything. I just saw the numbers." "Don't do that," he whispered. "Don't lie to me. Not today." His voice wasn't angry. That was the scariest part. He sounded like someone who already knew the truth and was waiting for her to admit it. The song continued, but Evelyn barely heard the melody. She could only focus on getting through it without collapsing, without screaming, without letting her fear show. She leaned back slightly, enough to look into his face. He looked normal, polished, beautiful. But his eyes were sharp, calculating. "Ev," he said quietly, "if someone is trying to ruin today for us, I need to know. Us, not her, not him. Us," as if her fear was a threat to unity. As if her doubt was an offense. "Nothing is being ruined," she whispered, lying again because she didn't know what else to do. He exhaled slowly through his nose, a sign she recognized, a sign he was annoyed, but he ended it with a kiss on her forehead, a kiss that made the guests saw and clap, a kiss that made her skin crawl. When the song ended, Mason stepped away to greet an uncle, giving her a 10-second window to breathe. Jolene rushed over immediately. "Ev, that was gorgeous. But you look pale. Did you eat anything today?" Evelyn forced a smile. "Just tired."
Jolene's eyes narrowed. "You're terrified," she whispered. "Why?" Evelyn's throat tightened. She leaned closer. "Can you do something for me?" Evelyn whispered urgently. "Anything. Keep an eye on Mason. Please don't ask why. Just tell me where he goes, who he talks to, if he leaves the room." Jolene blinked. "Evie, what's going on? Please." Jolene studied her face, really studied it, before nodding slowly. "Okay, I've got you." A small breath of relief escaped Evelyn's lungs. One ally. At least one. Evelyn slipped away toward the back doors, needing quiet, needing air. As soon as she stepped outside, the cold hit her, sharp and refreshing. She leaned against the railing, shaking. What if Noah lied? No, Noah didn't look like a liar. He looked wrecked, desperate. If you find this story good, please like and subscribe our channel. It's free for you but helps us a lot to keep sharing real stories like this. What if Mason had a valid reason? Her gut didn't believe that. Not after seeing the documents. Not after seeing his reaction. What if she was thinking too much? She wasn't. Her instincts had been screaming since the moment Noah appeared. She covered her face with her hands. "What am I doing?" she whispered into the darkness. A soft voice startled her. "You're trying to breathe." She looked up. Her cousin, Elena, one of the only people she trusted without question. Evelyn exhaled shakily. "I'm fine." "You're not," Elena said gently. "Your eyes are scared." Evelyn swallowed hard. She wanted to tell her everything. She wanted to collapse into someone's arms and cry. She wanted the whole nightmare to stop. But she couldn't risk saying it out loud. Not here. Not where someone might hear. Not with Mason somewhere behind her. "I don't want you alone," Elena whispered. "Come inside." Evelyn shook her head. "Not yet. I need space." Elena stepped closer, placing a coat over her shoulders. "Then I'll stand here with you." Evelyn felt her throat ache. "Thank you." They stood silently. Inside, she could hear muffled music and laughter. The world kept celebrating a wedding that felt like it was collapsing around her. After a minute, Jolene texted. "He's talking to his dad. Watching you though. Like, every 10 seconds. Evie, what's happening?" Evelyn's hands shook. Before she could reply, a shadow blocked the doorway. Mason. His expression was neutral, but his eyes were too focused. "Evelyn," he said softly, "can we talk?" Her stomach dropped. Elena instinctively stepped forward, placing herself slightly in front of Evelyn. But Mason just smiled politely. "Elena, may I have a moment with my wife?" Wife. He emphasized it. Evelyn felt a cold ripple travel down her spine. Elena looked at her. A silent question. "Do you want to go?" Evelyn shook her head. "Not right now." Mason's smile barely shifted, but something tightened in it. "Elena," he said calmly, "we need a private conversation." Elena stayed firm. She said no. A muscle jumped in Mason's jaw. But he didn't force it. He simply nodded once. "All right. I'll wait inside whenever you're ready." Then he leaned slightly closer to Evelyn. Too close, too warm, too intentional. You and I will talk, he murmured. Don't avoid me. Then he walked away. Evelyn felt her knees weaken. Elena grabbed her arm. Evie, what was that? But Evelyn couldn't speak, because that moment, those words, weren't a request. They were a warning. Her phone buzzed again. Jolene. He's back inside but watching the door. Evie, I'm scared for you. Please tell me what's going on. Evelyn finally felt tears prick her eyes. Because in that moment, out in the cold, with fear tightening around her like a fist, she realized the truth. She wasn't afraid of the confession anymore. She was afraid of the groom. The man she just married. The man she thought she loved. And now, she wasn't sure she even knew who he really was. Evelyn stayed outside long after Mason disappeared back into the reception hall. She didn't want to move. Didn't want to think. Didn't want to face whatever waited for her on the other side of those doors. The cold air felt like the only honest thing left tonight. Elena stood beside her, arms crossed tightly. Elena whispered, whatever is going on, it looks bad. Evelyn stared at the ground. I know. Do you want me to get your dad? Your brother? No, Evelyn said quickly. No one else can know. Not yet. Evie, this is your wedding night. I know, she whispered again, her voice cracking. God, I know. Inside, the band started the next song. People were laughing, dancing, clinking glasses. It was supposed to be the happiest night of her life. Instead, it felt like she was standing at the edge of something that could swallow her whole. Her phone buzzed again. Jolene. He's talking to your wedding planner now. Still watching the door. Evie, he's pacing. Evelyn closed her eyes. Elena took the phone gently from her hand. Okay, she said. Enough. Let's go somewhere nobody can hover over you or watch you or corner you. Evelyn looked up. Where? Your bridal suite. Lock the door. Think. Evelyn hesitated. Mason would follow. He'd knock. He'd demand answers. She could already hear his voice in her head. We will talk. Don't avoid me. Her stomach twisted. But staying out here wasn't an option either. Okay, Evelyn whispered. Elena kept close as they slipped inside the hall, moving along the far wall to avoid attention. Jolene made eye contact from across the room, pointing discreetly. He's on the right side, and Evelyn shifted left. 30 steps. 20. 10. She felt like prey trying to cross an open field before the predator noticed. His voice. Soft. Low. Too calm. Evelyn froze. Mason was suddenly there, stepping out from behind a group of guests. His expression was composed, his smile gentle in a way that didn't match his eyes. Where are you going? Elena stepped in immediately. She needs rest. We're going upstairs. Mason ignored her entirely. Evelyn, he said again. Come here. Her heart hammered. He said it like a request, but it wasn't one. Elena moved between them. Back up. Mason finally looked at her. This is my wife. Step aside. No, Elena snapped. A few guests had begun glancing over, sensing tension. Mason noticed and forced a light, practiced laugh. Sorry, wedding stress, he said to a nearby couple, waving it off. Everything's fine, but his eyes never left Evelyn. She felt sweat gather under her dress. Her vision blurred at the edges. Mason, she said softly, I just need a moment. Alone. His jaw ticked once. A small crack in his composure. Why? Jolene's eyes narrowed. You're terrified, she whispered. Why? Evelyn's throat tightened. She leaned closer. Can you do something for me? Evelyn whispered urgently. Anything. Keep an eye on Mason. Please don't ask why. Just, tell me where he goes. Who he talks to. If he leaves the room. Jolene blinked. Evie, what's going on? Please. Jolene studied her face. Really studied it. Before nodding slowly. Okay, I've got you. A small breath of relief escaped Evelyn's lungs. One ally. At least one. Evelyn slipped away toward the back doors, needing quiet, needing air. As soon as she stepped outside, the cold hit her, sharp and refreshing. She leaned against the railing, shaking. What if Noah lied? No, Noah didn't look like a liar. He looked wrecked, desperate. If you find this story good, please like and subscribe our channel. It's free for you but helps us a lot to keep sharing real stories like this. What if Mason had a valid reason? Her gut didn't believe that. Not after seeing the documents. Not after seeing his reaction. What if she was thinking too much? She wasn't. Her instincts had been screaming since the moment Noah appeared. She covered her face with her hands. What am I doing? She whispered into the darkness. A soft voice startled her. You're trying to breathe. She looked up. Her cousin, Elena, one of the only people she trusted without question. Evelyn exhaled shakily. I'm fine. You're not, Elena said gently. Your eyes are scared. Evelyn swallowed. Hard. She wanted to tell her everything. She wanted to collapse into someone's arms and cry. She wanted the whole nightmare to stop. But she couldn't risk saying it out loud. Not here, not where someone might hear. Not with Mason somewhere behind her. I don't want you alone, Elena whispered. Come inside. Evelyn shook her head. Not yet. I need space. Elena stepped closer, placing a coat over her shoulders. Then I'll stand here with you. Evelyn felt her throat ache. Thank you. They stood silently. Inside, she could hear muffled music and laughter. The world kept celebrating a wedding that felt like it was collapsing around her. After a minute, Jolene texted. He's talking to his dad. Watching you though, like, every 10 seconds. Evie, what's happening? Evelyn's hands shook. Before she could reply, a shadow blocked the doorway. Mason. His expression was neutral, but his eyes were too focused. Evelyn, he said softly, can we talk? Her stomach dropped. Elena instinctively stepped forward, placing herself slightly in front of Evelyn. But Mason just smiled politely. Elena, may I have a moment with my wife? Wife. He emphasized it. Evelyn felt a cold ripple travel down her spine. Elena looked at her. A silent question. Do you want to go? Evelyn shook her head. Not right now. Mason's smile barely shifted, but something tightened in it. Elena, he said calmly, we need a private conversation. Elena stayed firm. She said no. A muscle jumped in Mason's jaw. But he didn't force it. He simply nodded once. All right. I'll wait inside whenever you're ready. Then he leaned slightly closer to Evelyn. Too close. Too warm. Too intentional. You and I will talk, he murmured. Don't avoid me. Then he walked away. Evelyn felt her knees weaken. Elena grabbed her arm. Evie, what was that? But Evelyn couldn't speak, because that moment, those words, weren't a request. They were a warning. Her phone buzzed again. Jolene. He's back inside but watching the door. Evie, I'm scared for you. Please tell me what's going on. Evelyn finally felt tears prick her eyes. Because in that moment, out in the cold, with fear tightening around her like a fist, she realized the truth. She wasn't afraid of the confession anymore. She was afraid of the groom. The man she just married. The man she thought she loved. And now, she wasn't sure she even knew who he really was. Evelyn stayed outside long after Mason disappeared back into the reception hall. She didn't want to move. Didn't want to think. Didn't want to face whatever waited for her on the other side of those doors. The cold air felt like the only honest thing left tonight. Elena stood beside her, arms crossed tightly. Elena whispered, whatever is going on, it looks bad. Evelyn stared at the ground. I know. Do you want me to get your dad? Your brother? No, Evelyn said quickly. No one else can know. Not yet. Evie, this is your wedding night. I know, she whispered again, her voice cracking. God, I know. Inside, the band started the next song. People were laughing, dancing, clinking glasses. It was supposed to be the happiest night of her life. Instead, it felt like she was standing at the edge of something that could swallow her whole. Her phone buzzed again. Jolene. He's talking to your wedding planner now. Still watching the door. Evie, he's pacing. Evelyn closed her eyes. Elena took the phone gently from her hand. Okay, she said. Enough. Let's go somewhere nobody can hover over you or watch you or corner you. Evelyn looked up. Where? Your bridal suite. Lock the door. Think. Evelyn hesitated. Mason would follow. He'd knock. He'd demand answers. She could already hear his voice in her head. We will talk. Don't avoid me. Her stomach twisted. But staying out here wasn't an option either. Okay, Evelyn whispered. Elena kept close as they slipped inside the hall, moving along the far wall to avoid attention. Jolene made eye contact from across the room, pointing discreetly. He's on the right side, and Evelyn shifted left. 30 steps. 20. 10. She felt like prey trying to cross an open field before the predator noticed. His voice. Soft. Low. Too calm. Evelyn froze. Mason was suddenly there, stepping out from behind a group of guests. His expression was composed, his smile gentle in a way that didn't match his eyes. Where are you going? Elena stepped in immediately. She needs rest. We're going upstairs. Mason ignored her entirely. Evelyn, he said again. Come here. Her heart hammered. He said it like a request, but it wasn't one. Elena moved between them. Back up. Mason finally looked at her. This is my wife. Step aside. No, Elena snapped. A few guests had begun glancing over, sensing tension. Mason noticed and forced a light, practiced laugh. Sorry, wedding stress, he said to a nearby couple, waving it off. Everything's fine, but his eyes never left Evelyn. She felt sweat gather under her dress. Her vision blurred at the edges. Mason, she said softly, I just need a moment. Alone. His jaw ticked once. A small crack in his composure. Why? Because I'm overwhelmed. You weren't overwhelmed earlier, he said. Not until after you spoke to him. He said him like a venom sliding out of his mouth. Alina's voice cut through the tension. All right, that's enough. Move. Mason inhaled through his nose, controlled, measured. I'm not your enemy, Evelyn. Then he leaned close, whispering so only she could hear. But you're starting to act like one. A cold shock stabbed through her chest. Elena grabbed her wrist. Come, now. Evelyn didn't think, she just walked. Fast, almost running, up the stairs, down the hallway, toward the suite they decorated with roses and champagne for her wedding night. A night that now felt like a nightmare. Elena closed the door firmly behind them and locked it. Evelyn collapsed onto the edge of the bed, shaking. Her chest hurt. Her eyes burned. Everything felt like it was moving too fast. Elena knelt in front of her. Tell me now, she said. All of it. Evelyn stared at the carpet, breathing hard. It was earlier, she began. During photos, this guy showed up, Noah. Her voice broke. He said Mason stole money from him. A lot. He showed me paperwork, bank records, loan agreements. Elena's face twisted. Jesus. And then Mason showed up. And Noah ran like he was scared of him. Elena sat back slowly. Evie, why would Mason steal from anyone? I don't know. Tears filled Evelyn's eyes. I don't know anymore, Elena. He looked different. He acted different. When we danced, he kept asking what Noah told me. Not why Noah came. Not if I was okay. Just what I knew. Elena squeezed her hands. We need to call someone. No. Evelyn's voice rose in panic. If it's real, if he actually did something, this could ruin his life. And if it's real, Elena said gently, it could ruin yours. A knock echoed through the room. Both women froze. Mason's voice drifted in, muffled, calm. Evelyn? Open the door. Evelyn covered her mouth, her whole body trembling. He said through the wood, we can't do this. Let me in. Elena stood, keeping her body between Evelyn and the door. Go away. A beat of silence. Then, Elena, Mason said, tone sharpening, this is not your business. It is, she shot back. As long as she's scared of you. Another pause. Longer this time. Too quiet. Then his voice returned, soft but tight, like a rubber band stretched thin. Evelyn, if you don't open this door, you're going to make everything worse. Evelyn's breath hitched. Worse? How? For who? Another knock. Louder. Evie, please. Elena shouted, if you don't back up, I'm calling hotel security. Silence. Evelyn's heart pounded, each second stretching unbearably. Then, footsteps. Fading down the hallway. Elena peeked through the peephole. He's gone. Evelyn let out a broken sob. I can't face him. You don't have to, Elena said. We'll figure this out. Evelyn curled in on herself, hands gripping the sheets. I married him, she whispered. I promised my life to him. What if he's not who I thought? What if I made the biggest mistake of my life? Elena sat beside her, pulling her into a tight hug. Then tonight, she whispered fiercely. You start fixing it, but how? Elena leaned back, eyes fierce and protective. Evie, you need the truth. And you're going to get it from the only person who's been honest with you today. Evelyn blinked through tears. Noah? Elena nodded. Call him, right now, before Mason finds him first. Evelyn's fingers hovered above her phone like they were made of stone. Call Noah. 2 words. One impossible choice. Elena sat beside her, eyes fierce but steady. Evie, he risked showing up on your wedding day. You don't do something that insane unless you're desperate or terrified. Evelyn swallowed. Her throat felt tight. Everything inside her felt tight. What if he doesn't answer? She whispered. Then we try again. And if Mason finds him first? Elena didn't answer that. She didn't need to. The fear had already settled between them like something living. Evelyn finally tapped Noah's name. The call rang once, twice, 3 times. Her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the dial tone. Then, Evie? Noah's voice, breathless, shaky, like he'd been running. Evelyn's stomach dropped. Noah, where are you? I'm still at the hotel, he said quickly. I hid in the parking structure for a while, but I'm by the back exit now. Are you okay? Did Mason do anything? Evelyn pressed her hand against her forehead. No, but he knows something's wrong. He tried to get into my room. Noah, you need to tell me everything. Now, no more half-truths. A heavy silence filled the line. Elena is here with me, Evelyn added. You can trust her. Another beat of silence. Then Noah exhaled shakily. Okay, I'll tell you, but not on the phone. Mason, he's unpredictable when he feels cornered. If he hacked my accounts once, he can probably intercept my calls. Evelyn felt her skin go cold. He hacked, what? Elena whispered sharply, we're not staying in this room. If Mason comes back, we're trapped. Noah continued, voice trembling. I'm wearing the same clothes from earlier. People keep staring like I'm some crash-in guest. I can't stay long, but I can meet you somewhere close. Evelyn forced herself to breathe. Where? Level 3 of the parking garage, he said. Far side. The cameras don't reach that corner. Elena raised an eyebrow. How does he know that? Evelyn didn't even want to think about it. Noah, Evelyn said, if you lie to me again, once, I'll walk away from all of this. I'm not lying, he whispered. Evie, the whole reason I came today was to stop Mason from hurting someone else. I didn't care if you hated me forever. You needed to know. Evelyn's breath trembled. We'll meet you. She hung up. Her hands shook uncontrollably. Elena stood and began wiping the mascara stains off Evelyn's cheeks. We're doing this smartly. No elevators. No main hall. We take the service stairwell. I shouldn't have to sneak around at my own wedding, Evelyn murmured. Elena cupped her face. You also shouldn't have to fear the man you just married. That hit harder than she expected. They slipped out the back of the bridal suite, down a staff hallway lined with cleaning carts and catering trays. Every clink of dishes, every muffled laugh from the ballroom felt like a different world, one she no longer belonged to. Elena led the way, checking corners like they were in a thriller movie. On the second level, they froze. Mason was downstairs in the lobby, talking urgently to a staff member, gesturing toward the stairs. His jaw was locked, his eyes sharp, controlled, but furious. Evelyn's breath caught. Elena grabbed her wrist. Back. They ducked into a staff-only corridor just as Mason glanced up the staircase. They moved quickly, almost running, until they found the service stairwell. It was cold, silent, lit by flickering fluorescent bulbs. By the time they reached level 3 of the garage, Evelyn was shaking so badly she had to hold the railing just to keep her legs steady. Concrete, dim lights, echoes. It felt like a place secrets lived. Noah? Elena called softly. A shadow moved from behind a pillar. No, wait, that's him, Evelyn said quickly. Noah stepped into the light. He looked different now, less defensive, more anxious. His tie was gone, his shirt wrinkled, his hair messy from running fingers through it too many times. Thank God, he breathed. I thought Mason would get to you first. Evelyn crossed her arms tightly. Talk. Noah ran a hand over his face. Okay. Look, remember when Mason and I worked at the same investment firm years ago? Before you even met him? Evelyn nodded slowly. Well, I found out he was doing things off the books. Bad things, shady withdrawals, fake clients, moving money around under different shell accounts. At first, I thought I was imagining it. He was the golden boy. Everyone loved him. Evelyn's heart pushed up into her throat. Then he started getting close to me, Noah continued. Too close, complimenting me, inviting me out, offering to mentor me. And then one day, he asked me to sign off on a transfer. Evelyn frowned. A transfer for what? Noah looked her dead in the eyes. To your account, Evie. Her body went cold. What? She whispered. He made you the beneficiary of 2 large transfers. One was clean through a real estate LLC. One went through a fake consulting firm. He never told you. He made it look like you authorized them. Evelyn staggered back, grabbing the pillar. No, I know. Noah said quickly. That's why I confronted him. And he said, and I quote, she's my future. What's mine is hers, and what's hers is protected by me. Evelyn felt nauseous. Protected, from what? From being traced back to him, Noah said. Evie, he used your name as a shield. If the IRS or the firm caught the transfers, you would have been implicated. Not him. Elena let out a string of curses under her breath. No, Evelyn whispered again. He wouldn't put me at risk like that. He loves me. Noah stepped forward. Evie, listen. After I confronted him, my accounts were hacked. My emails wiped. He framed me as the one who approved the transfers. He turned my supervisor against me. I lost my job in a week. Evelyn felt her knees give. Elena caught her instantly. I didn't come today to ruin your wedding, Noah continued, voice breaking. I came because if Mason ever gets investigated, and trust me, it's coming, you'll go down with him unless you act before he does. Evelyn covered her face with both hands, sobbing. Elena steadied her, then turned to Noah. Why tell her now? Why not months ago? I tried, Noah said. He intercepted my messages, blocked my number on her phone, deleted my emails, and then he showed up at my apartment. Evelyn's head snapped up. He what? He told me, Noah whispered, that if I ever contacted you again, he'd make sure there wasn't a trace of my career left. Or my life. Evelyn felt a scream crawl up her throat. I don't believe you. Noah didn't react with anger. He just reached slowly into his jacket and pulled out a manila envelope. The same one he tried to show her earlier at the wedding. Then read this, he said softly. And tell me if I'm lying. Evelyn stared at it. Inside was the truth, or the end of everything she knew. Probably both. Before she could take it, a loud slam echoed behind them. A door, footsteps, fast, heavy, all three turned. Mason stepped out from the shadows of the stairwell. Face calm, suit perfect, eyes burning. Well, he said quietly, hands in his pockets, isn't this cozy? Evelyn's blood froze. Mason smiled coldly. Let's all have a little chat. Mason's footsteps echoed across the concrete, slow and deliberate, like he wanted every sound to settle into their bones. Evelyn felt herself instinctively step back until her spine hit the pillar. Elena moved in front of her without hesitation, a human shield. Noah didn't move. He stood perfectly still, clutching the manila envelope like it was the only weapon he had left. Mason's eyes flicked to him first. You just couldn't leave it alone, could you? Mason said, voice calm but vibrating with that tightly contained rage she'd heard only once before. The night he'd yelled at a stranger in a parking lot for parking too close to his car. The night she'd convinced herself it was stress. Now she saw it for what it was. A warning she'd ignored. Noah didn't flinch. She deserves the truth. Mason's lips curved into a small, amused smile. And you think you're her hero? Evelyn's pulse hammered painfully. Mason, she said quietly, just stop. Don't come any closer. He turned to her, and for a split second, his expression softened. Or tried to. But there was something underneath, something sharp. Evie, he said gently, you shouldn't be here. You should be upstairs, celebrating our wedding. Not. His eyes flicked to Noah, full of venom. Entertaining criminals. Noah laughed under his breath. You framed me, you psycho. Mason's jaw twitched. I protected what was mine. Evelyn stared at him. Protected? By using my name to launder money? By dragging me into something illegal? Mason blinked slowly, confusion sliding across his face like he genuinely didn't understand why she was upset. He said, his voice turning patient, almost condescending. I moved money into accounts with your name because no one would ever suspect you. That's what partners do. They trust each other. They protect what they've built. I was thinking about our future. Elena inhaled sharply. Holy hell, you actually believe that? Evelyn shook her head in disbelief. You didn't tell me. You didn't even ask me. He spread his hands. I didn't want you to worry. You're emotional. You panic. You would have misunderstood. Something inside her snapped. I'm emotional because you lie. She yelled, voice echoing in the garage. You hack people's accounts, you manipulate, you threaten, and you call it love? Mason's face hardened. Don't talk to me like that. Elena stepped forward. Or what? You'll hack her life next? Mason ignored her. His eyes locked on Evelyn, unblinking, intense. Come with me, he said softly. We'll go upstairs, we'll fix this. People are looking for you. Your mother is panicking. The bridal coordinator is freaking out. You're humiliating both of us right now. Evelyn felt the words like chains. If you find this story good, please like and subscribe our channel. It's free for you but helps us a lot to keep sharing real stories like this. Humiliating. Fix. Come with me. All the ways he had always controlled the narrative. Controlled her. She didn't move. Mason took a slow step closer. Noah instantly positioned himself between them. Mason's smile vanished. You need to move. No, Noah said simply. The air changed. Evelyn felt it. The shift from anger to danger. The kind that came right before something violent. Mason spoke through clenched teeth. You ruined everything today. No, Noah said, eyes steady. You did. Mason lunged. Elena screamed. Evelyn choked on her breath. Noah stumbled backward as Mason shoved him against a concrete pillar, the envelope flying from his hand and sliding across the floor. Stop, Evelyn cried, running toward them. Elena grabbed her arm. Evie, wait. Mason slammed Noah harder this time. You think you can walk into my life and talk to my wife about things you don't understand? You think you can ruin my future? Noah gritted his teeth. Your future is prison. Mason punched him. Evelyn froze mid-step. The sound was horrifyingly loud. Skin against bone, bone against wall. Noah's head snapped to the side, blood blooming instantly at the corner of his mouth. Mason, she screamed, voice cracking. He didn't stop. He was beyond listening, beyond pretending. This was who he was beneath the tailored suit and perfect hair. Noah pushed against him, gasping, Evie, run. Mason slammed him again. Something in Evelyn tore loose. She sprinted forward, grabbed at Mason's arm, pulling with every ounce of strength she had. Stop it. Get off him. Mason, stop. He turned on her so fast she stumbled back, tripping over her dress hem. Elena rushed to catch her. Mason didn't help. He didn't even blink. You don't know what you're doing, he said coldly. You're emotional. You're confused. You're letting him manipulate you. Evelyn stared up at him, breath shaking. You are hurting him. You're hurting people. And you used me to do it. Mason looked at her like she was a child. Evie, I've taken care of everything. I always have. Every bill, every plan, every detail of this wedding. And you think that means you own me? That stopped him. His expression flickered, confusion, irritation, disbelief. No, he said slowly. It means you owe me. Noah groaned on the ground, blood dripping on the concrete. Elena whispered, Evie, we need to leave. Now. Evelyn took a step backward. Then another. Mason saw it, and something inside him cracked. Don't, he warned. Don't walk away from me. Evelyn's voice trembled but didn't break. You walked away from us long before today. She reached down, grabbed the manila envelope from the ground, and held it to her chest. Mason's eyes darkened. Give that to me. No. Elle. Give it to me. No, she repeated, louder this time. This is evidence. Mason froze. His face drained of color. Noah forced himself to sit upright against the pillar. It's over, Mason. Mason looked between them, breathing hard. You think you can ruin me? You? After everything I built? After everything I gave her? You didn't give me anything, Evelyn whispered. You took everything. Mason stared at her like he didn't recognize her. Slowly, he stepped back. Then again. His hands shook, his jaw working like he was grinding teeth. This isn't finished, he said. Evelyn swallowed. Yes, it is. He stared at her one last time, a look she would remember for years, then turned and disappeared down the stairwell. The moment the door slammed, Evelyn collapsed to her knees, sobbing into her hands. Elena wrapped her arms around her. It's okay, we're here. You're safe. Noah wiped blood from his mouth and whispered, barely audible, Evie. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Evelyn looked at both of them. Her wedding dress torn, mascara streaked, hair undone, and yet, for the first time in months, she could breathe. But only barely, because now came the harder part, facing the truth. And facing the world that thought she just had the perfect wedding. Months have passed since that chaotic wedding day. The memories are still vivid, but they no longer have the power to shake me. I've stopped replaying Mason's face, stopped letting my stomach twist every time I hear footsteps behind me. I've stopped questioning my own decisions and my own strength. The house is quiet now. Morning sunlight spills across the living room, catching the dust particles dancing in the air. Ethan sits on the couch, sipping coffee, half reading the newspaper. I watch him for a moment, noticing the subtle smile that never leaves his face when he looks at me. Safe, calm, real. It's funny how much a person can change once fear no longer dictates their life. Back then, I would have trembled if someone looked at me the wrong way. Now, I know my own voice. I know my own boundaries. I know my worth. And I know that no one, not an ex, not a manipulative fiancé, not anyone, can take that from me again. The letters from Mason, the police reports, the footage, even the whispers of judgment from people who witnessed my wedding, none of it touches me anymore. Each was a shadow I once carried, but now they're behind me. They exist, but I don't live there. I've realized something. Love is not possession. Love is not fear. Love is not control. Love is space, respect, and trust. Ethan never tried to fix me. He didn't try to protect me from myself or from the world. He simply stood beside me, letting me find my own strength while holding my hand when I faltered. That's what love looks like when it's real. Sometimes I think about Mason, about what might have happened if I had listened to him or let fear guide my choices. I shudder at the thought, but I do not linger there. I refuse to give him another moment of power in my mind. He is a chapter, not my story. Even the wedding itself, though it ended in chaos, has a new meaning now. It wasn't a ruined day, it was a reckoning. It forced me to confront the illusions, the lies, the manipulation. It forced me to face myself, my boundaries, and my courage. And through that chaos, I discovered who I really am. I am no longer the girl who doubted herself. I am no longer the woman who stayed silent to keep the peace. I am someone who speaks her truth, someone who refuses to be controlled, someone who honors herself first. Looking back, I see that the moment Mason stepped into the venue was not the moment my life became complicated. It was the moment I became free. Free from fear, free from manipulation, free from people who try to define me, free to love myself and choose who deserves my trust. Ethan squeezes my hand and smiles. I squeeze back, and for the first time in years, I feel calm, complete, whole. The past is behind me. The pain is acknowledged but no longer owns me. The chaos has ended, and I am ready for everything that comes next. Because now, I am the author of my own story. And my story is mine alone. If you find this story good, please like and subscribe our channel. It's free for you but helps us a lot to keep sharing real stories like this.